Okay, so we'll be starting today's live stream in another couple of minutes. I hope you all are able to hear me clearly. Awesome. I'm just doing some setup while we're here. Okay, so we are getting close to starting out now. I hope you all are able to hear me. So, welcome everyone. So, this is Siddharth. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Dr. Droid, and the objective of today's live stream is to introduce some of the latest capabilities of DroidAgent, the leading incident response AI agent in the market for production systems. So, we'll be doing a walkthrough of a couple of scenarios first, and then we'll be going into details of how the platform operates and how it actually is ending up to be able to do investigations well. If anyone's here, just drop in a comment, say hello, say where you're from, and I'd love to get started with the kickoff here. Yeah, awesome. Okay, I think we have a couple of streamers here who are watching us right now. So, before I begin, let me walk you through a couple of things that I'm interested to walk you guys through today. So, the first investigation that I'll be doing today is so the agenda is quite simple. We have about 30 minutes of this live stream. So I'll be going through a bunch of different investigations and based on practical real life scenarios, investigations based on real life scenarios. So this hotfix by Dr. Droid is what I'll actually walk you through one of the PR mergers that we did in the last week, which was raised by Dr. Droid, and how actually the timeline of incidents happened because it's quite an interesting one. After I do that, I'll show you how, we've been seeing a bunch of different downtimes that have been happening recently across the board. So we'll be walking you through how Dr. Droid is, not only going to be able to investigate your issues, but also proactively detect issues in or vendor downtimes that you might have. And then the third one would be, possible day-to-day scenarios that you might want to understand with the agent and what kind of context it actually builds in. That's the agenda for today. And I'll be covering, okay, we have a droid from Pluto who's from Bangalore, so that's great. Nice to meet you. So we'll be covering these scenarios with the droid agent. So if you're not aware of what Dr. Droid is, or if you're just new to the system, so Dr. Droid is an AI-driven incident response platform that's actually useful and will help you with auto resolution of production issues. The way Droid Agent works is you sign up, add your tools, and the Droid Agent creates its own knowledge graph internally. And using that knowledge graph, it's able to do correlation and investigate and go deeper into identifying root causes for your production issues. So, yes, let me just jump right into the platform and look up. Actually, when we start for the first fix, which is what happened, let me just jump back to the agenda. In the agenda, the first item is going through a walkthrough of how Droid Agent actually did a hotfix. So we have done a lot of such videos. You can visit our YouTube channel if you want to see a bunch of different videos that we have done in the past around how AI is able to do a database volume related issue investigation, how it's able to do a Redis related investigation, how it's able to do a Kubernetes investigation, and suggesting a remediation action. So you'll be able to see all of these in the YouTube channel for Dr. Droid. So sign up and subscribe to it so you'll be able to watch it, and you'll also get the updates of all the drops that we do in terms of the live streams. So getting back to the first use case, which is a hotfix that was done by Dr. Droid last week. So now to get to that hotfix, the first thing I'll do is I'll show you the PR and then we'll trace back from there. So the PR is this one, and right. So this was the PR. It was in the middle of the night. If you look at what time it was at 3:26 a.m. my time. When it was 3:26 a.m. and I saw this, I was actually coding on one of the features that we just went live with last week. And while I was doing that, I got a notification of an alert in my production channel. So let me just give you a walkthrough what happened, right? Similar to all of these alerts, I got an alert in my production channel that one of these sentry errors is come up with a specific kind of issue. Now, when I looked up that issue, I knew how to fix it, and I went into the code and I fixed it. But I was already in the middle of a PR, and there were like 5 uncommitted files in my repo at that moment, and I still made the change, but I did not really deploy it. But while I committed the change and I was just testing it, I see this PR raised. And I was kind of frustrated because, this was kind of something that I was going to merge, but Dr. Droid had already done the work for me. So this, I'll just show it to you here for context. There was an error that came up while generating workflow recommendations that the agent was able to detect. And once the agent detected this error, what did it do? It went into searching the knowledge graph of the company about what it could potentially be related to. It goes into Sentry to, do a deep dive into the error message that came in, the body of the error message, etc. And after that, it goes deeper into the logs in Render and it analyzes the logs. And after it analyzes the logs, it comes back and does a code. It fetches the recent PRs and the recent commits, and then it analyzes the code in detail. This is a coding agent that's operating within the investigation agent. So it analyzes the code in detail, and after that, it goes into creating a PR. So if you look at the prompt, it first, when it understood the code, it understood the root cause of the issue, and then it creates a fix the type error in main by function caused by function name collision. So it found the function name collision and it raised the PR. And this was automatically generated. So if you look at when the alert came in at 3:09 a.m. and this is in the middle of the night, and I received the PR right here in GitHub. And I received this PR right here in the GitHub repository at 3:26 a.m. So it got triggered, it analyzed the error, and then it raised a PR, and it was ready to. This was the PR that actually fixed it, and I ended up rolling back, reverting the changes in my local version. So this was one moment. Now, if you look at how it actually operated, I've been able to give you a quick walkthrough of that. But for the context of everyone, I will be jumping into the next section towards the end around how the knowledge graph operates within any company in Dr. Droid platform. So this was a very quick walkthrough of how it actually so now whenever I get a production alert, my instinctive behavior is not to go and debug it, but see if it has come up along with the error that I've gotten the root cause and the fix as well given by Dr. Droid. So although the issue was assigned to me, I never really did most of the work. The work was done by Dr. Droid. The only thing I did was I reviewed this and approved it and merged it, right? So that was an interesting that has become now the go-to way for me to look at production errors, especially the ones that are, exceptions that come up in the code. So this is what Dr. Droid was able to do for me, a hot fix in the middle of the night when a feature broke. So next, we've been seeing multiple downtimes in the recent last few weeks. Cloudflare had a very big downtime. AWS had a very big downtime. I think Google also had a downtime, and all downstream players as well are getting impacted. So, how do you make Dr. Droid aware of what external vendors does your company use, and how could that impact your downtime? So we have two sections. One is an integration section where you add different tools like, let's say, your Grafana, your GitHub repositories, your cloud providers, etc. In parallel, we have an external vendors integration. This is based on an open source project that we've built out last quarter in the company. So all you need to do is you need to just add the list of all the vendors that you use here. And after that, Dr. Droid is always aware of what is happening with each of those vendors. Hey, Dr. Droid, uh, are any of my external vendors impacted at the moment? Right? So just asking this question, Dr. Droid is already aware in your company what are the external vendors that are being used and what is the status of each of those vendors. It is able to sync that information from different status pages of different vendors. As you can see, just think about it. You suddenly get a long stream of alerts, right? Typically, you might get like 30 alerts a day or 30 alerts in a channel every hour or whatever your frequency is, and suddenly you have a major outburst. When you have that major outburst, whatever that dynamic reason is, there's a very good reason Dr. Droid catches it, and you're able to see it here as well. This is two alerts, two errors, two alerts here, two alerts here in this issue. This issue has 56 different errors. So it's able to see when there's a burst of alerts, group them together, avoid the noise for me as an engineer. So I can just look at, this as one issue instead of having to look at so many issues in parallel. So I believe this is something that basically ends up helping me here with regards to these external vendors. So think about it, you start getting alerts in different services because a downstream vendor or a database provider, for instance, is impacted. Now, if you're using Dr. Droid, your platform, your engineers will already be aware that all of this is, correlated to uh, the integrations that you have, which are the external vendors that you're using, and it would be able to analyze that. It would not just give you that, hey, Twilio is down, hence this alert is coming. It will tell you, hey, Twilio is down. I already checked the logs for this system, and I can see very clearly that these logs specify that, hey, Twilio error 401 is coming through, which means that the end-to-end workflow becomes very tight for the agent, to be able to capture. So I hope you're able to get a, now in regards to how the project operates, we actually have support for about 50 plus different vendors at the moment, and we are adding support for more vendors. So you can see we have support for 150 vendors at the moment, and you can add more support for more vendors and get notified as well as get the agent to know which of your vendors is not operating at the moment. Right? So across different categories, you are able to detect, and your agent is able to detect if any of your vendors are down. Great. So now let's look at the third scenario of what happens typically in your team, right? Let's say you were on a break for a few days and you're coming back from the break and you are supposed to be on call. Hey, Droid Agent, can you catch me up with all the development and releases that have happened in the last couple of weeks, right? Now, the first thing it does is it goes through its knowledge graph, it goes through its intelligence and identifies what should it look for. Then it goes into Argo CD, it goes into identifying, it goes into Argo CD, then it goes into GitHub in repo AIOps V0, then it goes into the same repo to check the merges again, etc. Then it creates a summary of the PR, so you know what kind of improvements went through, who made those improvements, and no merge commits were found in this. Okay, great. Yes, can you look for other repos as well? So currently it's looking up only one repo, but you can always ask it to look up other repos. Let's see what all repositories it's able to identify. Yes. So it's able to identify three different repos. Yes. Yes, please fetch the merges and analyze them. So when you are able to do that, DroidAgent is basically having full context of, all the merges that are happening there in those repos. This is when it's using the cache data to fetch that information again. Now here, what repo is it going to? It's going to AIOps V0. Here it's gone to prototype. So it knows mermaid related changes that have come up, wishlink related changes that have come up. So whoever is on call get a good velocity of, what are the changes that have been happening in the team at that moment. Okay, that's helpful. Can you also give me a walkthrough of what alerts have come in when I wasn't here? Right, so in this case, what ends up happening is Dr. Droid also will be able to analyze your alerts, understand what's been the most common reason why alerts have been coming in your system, and it gives you a summary of, what kind of issues are coming in. So it's found a couple of different reasons why these errors are coming in: code level exceptions, integration level failures, service level errors, timeouts, etc. So all the different issues that it's seeing, it's able to give you a summary of. Now, how does that happen? If you look at this entire analysis, Dr. Droid is completely plugged in into detecting issues in your system across all the different sources that you have. Is completely plugged in into investigating issues that you have and triaging and grouping them into relevant buckets so that you don't waste a lot of time in investigating every alert, every error manually. Wherever you see this, along with the error comes a detailed, root cause of what it found and how it could potentially be fixed. Patch this function to use, etc. Consider this PR, create a PR for this. Now, let's jump to something interesting and something that will help you understand how correlations are built within the Dr. Droid platform. So once you add all your integrations, you are able to build a training agent and you train the agent on, you are able to build a context context for the agent, which it can query at any point. Now, how does that context look like? you know uh, there are different types of context. Like you can see here, the context could be services, the context could be alerts, the context could be documents, the context could be about external vendors, about integrations that you are using. It could be a lot of different types of configuration contexts. Now this is a service level knowledge graph that the agent has access to, but what's more important, and it's also a bit hazy to be able to read it, but this is agent's interpretation of a company's architecture. When you sign up for Dr. Droid, when you add these integrations, you get your own knowledge graph, which would be very different and very unique compared to any other company. It also gives a very detailed summary of the core architecture pattern that it's able to identify. It was able to identify the primary stack, the front-end layer, having repo web vault, and then it goes into which is deployed on Vercel, then the backend layer, which is prototype, and it's able to, you know, identify deploy on render, then it is able to identify holocron, which is specialized service with dedicated workers. Then it's able to identify the workers layer. It's able to identify there's this, this is one of the work layer. Then it's able to identify the data layer, which has Redis in it, a Dr. Droid agent deployed in it, a Datadog agent deployed in it, and it knows that I use a hybrid cloud combining of Azure Kubernetes, Render, Vercel, and it knows the correlations and the downstream and upstream dependencies between different processes. It also understands the typical flows that we have in the product and what services are involved in those flows. In terms of other context that it has context of monitoring tools, it has context of, the database infrastructure. Let me actually zoom in here. So when you zoom in here, you can see different sections that the agent has created. This is obviously going to be very complex given the granularity and the depth of infrastructure and our applications that we have in our production systems more often than not. It is saying I have different, core application services like Prototype, PodRacer, Falcon, Web Vault, Holocron. It knows that I have a bunch of different background workers for Holocron, for Celery, Prototype, and it knows I have a data layer comprising of Redis, Postgres DB, Replica DB, a Kafka instance. I have a New Relic APM, a Signos, an Elastic, and a Datadog because we test these tools for our clients. We have Grafana dashboards, we have Sentry error tracking, and underneath we have Prometheus and Loki. And it also is aware about the source repositories that we have in our system and how they correlate with the services, how they correlate with the runbooks, how they correlate with the deployment pipelines across different tools like Argo CD, Render, Vercel, and it is able to understand the deployment architecture as well, how the deployment space has been set up, what are the different namespaces that I have, what are the external services that I'm using, etc. So the knowledge graph is basically what's able to drive Dr. Droid to do any investigation on the go and be able to tell you what's going wrong within the system and how that could be fixed. So this deep knowledge context can be done for your team as well if you're using any of our production systems and integrating them into the platform. This will be something that will be accessible to you as well. Now let's go to some more alerts that we are seeing in the system and see if any of them could be new that would be uh, interesting to look at right now. Yes. So this was an issue that I saw DSL rule validation error not contains in alert definition for pottery. So this was actually an issue that I saw a couple of days back. I knew briefly what the potential reason for that is, and I wanted to fix that, but I didn't really have the time. Let's see what it's done here. It's added multiple alerts into the same investigation because it's found them to be very similar, error supporting DSL rules, etc. And then it fetches the Sentry issue info. It first goes through the knowledge graph that I just showed you. Then it fetches the Sentry issue info. Then it goes into searching related alerts, and then it analyzes the root cause. Okay, so what it's the DSL parser only supports the not operator with alert.labels.key contains pattern. It does not support not this or not that. Okay, when the AI generates rules like this line 434 throws an error. That is correct. AI generated DSL rules is where my issue is. I'm aware of that. Aggressive string truncation in sanitization. Okay, so it's splitting the DSL rule, okay, based on split or based on or it's splitting it, okay. Strips parenthesis completely. The rule doesn't start, it replaces the entire rule, okay. The original rule was okay, yeah. Add missing not operator in helper functions. Update line 434 to include new patterns. Remove destructive sanitization. Improve AI prompt to avoid these issues. I think I like the fix number 3 that it's suggesting. Hey, can you go ahead and implement the fix number 3 that you have suggested? I'd prefer to tweak the AI prompt that's generating these definitions to be more contextual. Alrighty, so the Dr. Droid platform has the primary investigation agent, but it has a coding agent that is accessible to the investigation agent. And what it has done is, first thing that it's done is it's given a handover to the coding agent with a prompt saying, find the AI prompt in streaming alert definition recommender.py that generates DSL rules. Look for the prompt used for initial pattern analysis, the prompt used for pattern refinement. When overlaps are detected, any system messages or instructions given to the AI, this. Now, uh, if we look at the details of how this analysis is going on, you can look at you can think about it similar to how Cloud Code would be operating, wherein, it has a step-by-step mention of what analysis it's able to do and where it is at the moment. So now it has a complete picture, and now it's create a to-do list to organize my findings and then provide the comprehensive analysis that you requested. Okay, so it has provided the analysis. So while it's doing this, we could explore a few more things within the platform. The Droid agent comes with analysis of the alert patterns that you have within your account. For instance, once it loads out, you can see how many total webhooks did your team receive in the last 4 weeks, how many issues were created across these webhooks that you received. So out of the 3,000 alerts, only 500 issues were created, and what issues were created the most, and what has been the frequency, what type of issues are being created the most as well. So you see all kinds of patterns across different vendors, across different tools, etc. And you're able to basically identify where you want to reduce the toil in the alerts as well. Yes. So now it received the entire analysis. Yeah. Now I'm back to the coding agent. I hope you are following me here. So in the coding agent, it's completed the analysis. Now it's recommended the fix that the agent needs to do with a good prompt that details everything that needs to be done by the agent. And now the agent is actually operating on it, I believe, and yes. So it received very specific file updates that it needs to do and it started with the file changes. Now I'll replace the existing DSL rule constraints section with the enhanced version. So I'm just giving you a walkthrough of how it's doing it, but in real life scenarios, very likely you are not really sticking to the screen. You're letting the AI do the work while you are actually somewhere else doing something else in parallel. Perfect. It's completed up to task number 4. As you can see, it's created an internal task. So now it's creating the final simplification. Perfect. So now it's completed this. So it says it has created a PR. Now if we go to the repository, there were 13 PRs, now there's 14th PR, and you can see AI prompts to prevent DSL validation errors in alert definitions. Now if we go into this, you see this was what was the initial prompt. Now it's given up the detailed prompt to the agent and done the code changes in the validation rules as well in parallel. So this is a PR that me and my one of my teammates will just take a quick look at and merge them once we feel that okay, this looks perfect as per the requirement. But in a nutshell, in this issue, I whenever I wanted to go back to it, I knew exactly what happened, and I can actually just copy this link and send it to my teammate to review it. And so now when they review it, they don't really need to know what I did and why I did. They just can see everything here, all the data that I queried, all the commands that were given by the agent, and the output that the agent is able to see. Okay, I think with this we conclude how all the three, and how we've also concluded the primary agenda of the call, doing a dynamic alert analysis, dynamic investigation for the platform. So if this is something that could be helpful in your production systems, right now is the time to sign up or book a demo with us, and we'll help you get onboarded in no time. And the value that your team will see in incident response will be non-trivial, will be something that you will love, and that's what most of our users are saying today. And we'll be looking forward for you to trying out the platform. If you have any questions, I'll be around for a couple of more minutes, and then we can wrap up the stream for today. All right, I think we are good here then. I'll just wrap up the call today with this. And in the next session, we will have some interesting conversations about the usage of different IDEs and different AI tools beyond Dr. Droid as well. So subscribe to our YouTube channel if this is something that excites you or you spend a lot of time in production, and it'll be fun to have a deeper discussion next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.